Hello, alchemists. And today's question is, what truth about yourself is asking to be remembered right now? If you've already chosen your doorway, check the timestamps below. If not, I'm going to give you a closer look. Doorway number 1. Doorway number 2. Doorway number 3. Let's begin the great work. Hello, alchemists, and welcome to your initiation through doorway number 1. Today you chose this card. And the question is, what truth about yourself is asking to be remembered right now? I feel like with this card, it's a combination of two things. Number one, you feel like maybe you're lazy or self-indulgent when you can't do all the things you feel like you should be able to do. And that leaves you in a state of sort of like melancholy, but you see it as melodramatic. But that, honestly, that has nothing, the feeling that it's melodramatic doesn't really have anything to do with what you really think of yourself or what's really going on. Because we're taught that if we're not constantly on top of everything all the time, if one thing in our life slips for 1 second and we're not perfect according to, whatever standard we were raised with, that we're failing or we're melodramatic for being tired or things like that. So obviously you need to remember that that is not true. It's okay to rest, and you're not being melodramatic by being tired. I mean, the world is overwhelming. There's so many things going on. And even if there wasn't, I mean, resting is just an important part of living. Rising from your shadow. Oh my God, this fits so well. Look. So from your shadow, says you like, oh, I'm holding the torch, even though you're drowning, right? You're like, I got this. I got this. And so in your shadow, you have some old programs or ideas that you've got to keep going, even if you're drowning. And so you're like, I'm holding the torch. I got it. But I mean, how long can you maintain that? And coming back to this image, so the idea that you're like, oh, I'm so melodramatic, or I'm so sad because I just can't achieve what I'm supposed to be achieving. Well, look at this. This is a mosquito. This is the societal expectations that say that you are not worthy if you're not overproducing. What's that going to do? It's there to suck her dry, isn't it? Yeah. Nobody benefits from you being in this situation except people who want to exploit you. So, have that rest. Don't feel guilty about it. Yeah. Passion. Okay. Yeah. It's giving you a doorway out. What do you need to remember about yourself? That you are a passionate person. You're a strong person, and you do not have to buy into this at all. We have responsibilities and things that we need to do in our lives. But when you need to stop and rest, you don't need to worry about, oh no, I should be doing more. There's this great thing that you can start doing for yourself, and it's changing. I actually have this on my, feels like there's 2 cards here. I guess not. It feels, anyway, there's something that I do every single day. It's on my daily checklist, and it says, say I choose to instead of I should. And it sounds super simple, but basically what it does is it starts retraining your mind to say, hey, I'm choosing to do this. There's no, obviously we have obligations, but when it comes, so many of the things that we feel the same urgency as, we would fill with true obligations like feeding ourselves or taking care of our families or whatever. A lot of those are just like self-imposed because society has given us a productivity wound, which basically means that they're like, if you're not productive enough, then you're worthless. And that is BS. So let's get a little more into this. You're feeling drained. You just need to remember that you are a passionate person, and that passion, like what you love, is what's going to get you out of this. And if what you love is like napping after work or whatever, then you should do that. If what you love is, winding down with TV, you should do that. A lot of people like, oh, everything has to be, productive in a very specific way. So just remember, so, before television, people were always like, oh, people, they're rotting their minds away by reading books. But now we're like, oh my God, everyone should be reading books instead of watching TV. And I'm not saying we definitely should. Books are great for your imagination and stuff. I'm saying cultural things change, and whatever is old becomes good, and whatever new is demonized a lot of times. And, that's a whole other conversation. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of that, but for this reading. But the point is whatever your passion is, whether it is something, a little more involved like art or writing or something, or if it's just like, what, I love video games. The point is that this is here to tell you to remove that guilt, because you playing a video game for an hour a day or whatever is not causing you to fail at life, right? Now, if you get obsessed with everything in balance, but, this looming presence over you telling you that you're a failure because you stopped to rest, that's just stuff that you've been told your whole life, and you've probably internalized. The Chariot. Yeah, time to rise above those programs. You definitely need to take a break, with this balloon, with passion, with this feeling of drowning, this feeling of, oh my God, I'm just never good enough, but also seeing the impending draining there. Strength. Okay. So it takes a lot of inner fortitude to remember that not everything you think is true. And what that means is, it doesn't mean don't trust yourself. It means evaluate your thoughts. Make sure their thoughts are from your beliefs and your desires from life, and not necessarily from you, because you want to block out ideas and stuff that were planted in you and that you just do because it's what you're used to doing because someone taught it to you as a kid. And you want to let go of those and make sure that what you are thinking is aligning with who you really are and what you really want. And if you really want to rest more, just because someone told you that when you were a kid that was, you got to go, 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 you have to rest. It's something you have to do. So if you rest, you don't get productive rest if you're, reaming yourself the entire time, making yourself feel bad the entire time, like that. So yeah, if you're resting, but you're not really getting productive rest, it's going to make you more tired, feel more guilty. Remember, I choose to take an hour to do this thing I really enjoy that calms me down. Not because I'm lazy, but because I'm choosing my own mental and physical health. Yeah, look at that. You're really close to understanding this at a level where you're ready to let go of these past mental patterns that keep you feeling like this. And also with this balloon and the Chariot, I feel like, what is it that you can let go of so that you can get into this post-tower star energy a little faster? A lot of times we pile responsibilities on ourselves because we were taught that we were supposed to. And when there is empty space in our lives, we get real freaked out because we're just not used to it. We're used to living that productivity wound, that whatever that we have to constantly be producing. And so we get really scared of the silence because we don't know what's going to come up. But let me tell you something. There's a little bump there, sometimes a big bump. But once you get past it, you're like, it's like a huge breath of relief, a huge breath. Yeah. And that's how you rise into your Empress energy. Empress energy is really like nurturing. It's the idea that you start nurturing yourself and not just what society says is most important. So society always says that money and social class and career success is the most important thing. And then sometimes they'll throw family and God in there somewhere, sometimes. Or they'll say that, but they won't really mean it. They really mean make us money. This Empress energy is like really in her groove. And remember, not gendered, just energies. So she's in her groove. She's in her peace. She's in her really empowered energy. And this transformation, this transmutation of energy in you from I should to I choose to will help you overcome that. Yeah. This is the I should energy. It's weighing you down. You feel like, whoops, knocked a stone over. Knocked a crystal over. Okay, let's real quick before we close this one out, get you a affirmation card. No one can make me feel inferior. Absolutely true. That productivity wound I talked about earlier is something that is meant to make you feel inferior and make you feel lower so that you have to keep striving to do better or make more. All right, I'm going to leave this here today, Alchemist. Please comment below if this resonated for you and continue the great work, my friends. I'll see you next time. Hello, Alchemists, and welcome to your initiation through doorway number 2. Today, you chose this card. It's a woman in a tower. She's kind of looking down. The question today is, what truth about yourself is trying to be remembered right now? I'm getting an energy around this of feeling like life has so many elements. It's difficult for you to focus on one. And so you feel like maybe you're scattered a lot, that, it might be that you have so many projects and things to do between work and home and family. It might be that you really have a hard time focusing. And so you really want to like indulge in your hobbies and stuff. It's not an indulgence. You want to participate in your hobbies and you just can't focus long enough. Or maybe you get really obsessed with one hobby or one idea and you follow it for a little bit, but then you get bored of it and you jump to the next thing. And so you feel like you've got all these random projects and things going on that never get to the completion level that you want it to get to. So let's take a look at your shadow for this one. Oh my gosh, you can't get it more literal than that, right? All this random stuff. This even looks like different hobbies and stuff. Like there's dice, there's one of those little things from artists, there's some money, there's some pens, there's a notebook for writing. Yeah, I'm definitely getting that energy here, that especially getting that energy that like you have so many things you want to do, but it's almost like you're dabbling in a lot of different things. And let's just explore this a little more. Life purpose. You feel like that you're supposed to have a very specific, singular life purpose because that's what we're taught, That's basically the underlying modus operandi of society, is that something's wrong with you if you don't fit into the boxes. And part of that fitting into the boxes is making sure that you have this singular idea of who you are and the singular idea of where you're going, and it's never supposed to change. Well, I am one of these people, by the way. I have a few things that I've been into for decades, like reading tarot and cooking. But everything else, I swear I've got like a whole room full of started hobbies so it can make it feel like your life purpose is very difficult to hone in on when you're spreading yourself out like this. But here's the truth about it, guys. Like alchemists, your life purpose might be that you're supposed to be trying things out and having fun. When did society change from, when we're kids, we're taught, oh, you're supposed to have fun, you're supposed to learn new things, it's supposed to be exciting. But suddenly when you turn 18, you're supposed to shut that down. What is up with that? It's okay to explore and try new things. Like, for example, a few years ago, I picked up the tin whistle and I loved it. It was so fun. And for like a year, I played it all the time until I got to a level where I felt like I was good at it. Not a master at it or anything, but I was good enough at it. And then I was like, I'm not into this anymore right now. And I might pick it up again later and I might not. But the point is it's okay to have these feelings and these hobbies and to dabble in them. You don't have to feel guilty about that. But this was actually the next point I was going to make. You need to balance it. Make sure that you're not like spending all your money and getting obsessed with something. Like, this is one good thing like you can do. Like, for example, if you really, really want to try archery or something, buy a $20 or $30 archery kit. And it's not going to be precise or anything, but play around with that for a while. And then if you want to take it to the next level, just don't dive into the deep end and, expect that, oh, I know in my heart this is going to be the hobby forever, because I don't know if you're anything like me, but, it takes a while for me to establish whether a hobby or something is going to be a permanent thing or turn into a life purpose like this one did for me, which this was never a hobby. I started reading cards when I was 12. It's been more like a life journey for me. Justice. Once again, balance, balance, balance. It's okay for you to jump around. You need to not guilt yourself about it if you jump around. I think that if you don't just, so when people are in college, they're told like that, to try different classes and things to see what sticks, what they really want to major in or whatever. Life is the same way. Try different things. And time was not wasted if you didn't find your life purpose till you're 50 or 40 or 30, right? It's not wasted. In fact, some like big actors, I think like Morgan Freeman or something, he didn't start acting till he was like 40. Like, so it's never too late. So if it takes you 10 or 20 years of dabbling to find something that feels more cohesive, like your life purpose, that's fine. And in fact, getting freaked out about that it didn't happen yet is the exact way that you delay it from happening, because you're not dabbling the way you should. You're forcing yourself into activities maybe that you don't even like just because you bought the stuff for it or whatever. Yeah, finding balance is also understanding that none of that time was wasted. So yeah, now I can play a little tin whistle. I can shoot a couple arrows. Am I great at it? No. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, sometimes. But it wasn't time wasted because it was time that I enjoyed doing something and learning a new skill. 3 of Wands. Yeah, don't get so hyper-focused on the future of dreaming about what this could mean to your life, and just go ahead and try it out and see what you think. And once you do that, you'll remember that yourself is supposed to be having fun here. Your hobbies are not meant to be monetized all the time. I think that's where that productivity one interferes with us having fun, because we're like, oh, wait, I picked up this tin whistle and now I'm good at it, so maybe I should figure out a way to make money. No, don't. Just enjoy some things without that pressure. The World. Wow, you're getting so much major arcana energy here. So this is the conclusion and the wholeness. So I feel like once you can make this transmutation in your life and find this balance, you're going to find that like, oh, the whole world is at my fingertips. So you're closing out the cycle of being freaked out about it, and you're opening up sort of the idea that like you can hold all these different aspects of yourself, and it creates a beautiful picture, even if it's a little wonky, right? Like this picture is beautiful and cohesive, even though it's full of a bunch of really random elements. Same thing here. I mean, this little, I'm going to call him my shadow bag because he definitely looks like a shadow bag, but I don't know. This card comes up a lot. I'm very affectionate with it, even though it looks kind of freaky. More major arcana energy. Wow. This is, I feel like you're going to, by stopping the self-punishment over your jumping around from idea to idea, it's going to open you up to find the thing that you love the most. And remember, lovers isn't just about love or loving things or loving people. It's about choices. So remember, you're choosing to do this. You can choose whether to be upset with yourself about dabbling, or you can choose to be like, oh, I'm exploring a lot of new, wonderful things. The Ace of Cups. Yeah, look at that. Let those feelings go that you have to do it a certain way. It's okay if, you pick up gardening and grow 5 tomatoes and then you drop that for 3 years. Maybe you'll pick it up again, maybe you won't. And then now you're into piano. And then now you're into, like I said, make sure that you're balancing things and starting small to make sure it's something you want to do. But hey, you might become a polymath. You never know. You have so much going on. And I think it's less about worrying about, oh, I've got to hyper focus on one thing. If you're like me, I hyper focus on things for a while and then I just kind of even out. So if that might be the case for you, or you might just jump constantly. But the point is even if you spend 5 minutes with a single hobby and it gave you joy, that's fine, right? We have this idea that everything has to be forever, but that is not the nature of reality. Nothing is forever. So you can be really into something and then it go away, or have a really important relationship and it go away. It doesn't mean that relationship or that thing lost its value because it's gone now. The time that you enjoyed during it is still valuable to you. Your affirmation today: I am who I want to be. Yeah, if this is you, just embrace it. If this is you, just embrace it. Your life purpose might just be curiosity, and that's okay. All right, alchemists, please continue the great work and comment below if this resonated with you, and I will see you next time. Welcome, alchemists, to your initiation through doorway number 3. What truth about yourself is asking to be remembered right now? You chose this amazing card. Wow. Okay. I'm actually not going to read this card until I get the shadow because I get 2 very distinct messages from it. And I want to see what your shadow card is saying to see which one it is. You never know. It might be both. Sometimes that happens too. This is, I want to just say, badass. She's being badass. Now, that's a teddy bear, so we will see. There's your shadow card. This card is stalking my readings lately. This deck has this many cards, and I swear there's like 5 cards that pop up over and over and over again, so please pay attention. To me, this is the ultimate shadow work card. So like your real life, your subconscious, the moon representing emotions and dreams and hidden things. Yeah. So what you need to remember about yourself right now. With this shadow card, that means that this interpretation is definitely about being overly defensive. So like, what is this little teddy bear going to do to a girl with a real sword, right? So this might be kind of like you have something going on in your shadow and you need to remember that overcompensating is actually detrimental to you. So, yeah. Peace is what you need to strive for. We'll get back to that in a second. Okay, so let's try to think of a good example. Like, for example, let's say you dated somebody and they hurt you. And so now if someone does, like, says the same thing that they said, even if that new person's not toxic, you're going to like run away screaming into the sunset and never talk to them again, because you are working from an old subconscious pattern that those specific words mean that this is going to play out in the exact same way as the last situation, right? So that's what I mean by defensiveness. I don't mean like, oh, you're so defensive. It's more like you might be misreading current situational cues because of this subconscious projection. And what you need to remember is that your pure state is peace. And before whatever happened that caused you to put up your defenses like this happened, you felt more peace in your heart and your life. And that's what you need. That's what you want to get back to. That's what your heart is trying to get you to remember. Yeah, with the Hierophant here, you need to start studying a little bit more about how your mind works so that you're not controlled by your subconscious programs. And a subconscious program can be something like, oh, society taught me as a kid that I'm supposed to have this role or do this thing. But subconscious programs are also micro things. For example, like I said earlier, maybe someone said one thing to you about your hair or something when you were a kid. And now as an adult, you're really freaked out about your hair, but you don't know why. And so you're always like covering it up or freaking out or taking 5 hours to fix it because you're freaked out. You might not even remember that comment happened, but now you're obsessed with it, right? Even though maybe you don't even see it as obsessed. Maybe you just see it as normal. And that's why studying the way your mind works and the fact that like 95% of everything you do, say, and think comes from your subconscious programs will help you overcome this and return to that state of peace that is your birthright and your natural state. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, grounding yourself, moving through this with purpose, but not being frantic about it. The Lovers. This came up in doorway number 2. So if you're drawn to that doorway, I would highly encourage you to check that out as well. Love and acceptance, but also choice. So you get to choose whether once you become aware of these patterns in you, you get to choose whether you're going to do the work on it or you're going to keep the defenses up and keep the veil between your consciousness and subconsciousness strong. But if you want to have any true control over your life, you have to do the work between those things, because remember, only 5% of what you do, say, blah, 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 comes from your conscious mind. Everything else is just automatic from your subconscious program. So if you don't learn to start that conversation, you're always going to be in defensive mode because your subconscious is saying danger, 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 when really your consciousness could be like, oh, that's not actually dangerous. Now, on the other side, your intuition will help you find real dangerous situations, and you should definitely be paying attention to that. 8 of Wands. So I feel like this is something that once it clicks for you is going to move very quickly, right? You might be like, it's going to be like one of those curves where it's like, oh, it feels like slow, woohoo! You're just like off the charts. Because this is one of those things that once you get it, you get it. Once you get it, you have built a framework for remembering who you really are. And then you're acting from that instead of from reactive. So one of the things that S. Ngoinka, who does the Vipassana meditation, says is that you need to make sure that you're acting and not reacting. And acting is something that you do from your conscious mind. Reacting is something you do from your subconscious mind. Someone says something, you react immediately in a certain way that maybe you don't even feel in control of. And that's why this conversation starting is the process to that deeper healing. Six of Pentacles. I love this as a juxtaposition to this card because this is a child about to chop the head off of her teddy bear. And this Six of Pentacles is like the nostalgia card. A lot of times there's children on it playing, or I have one deck where they're having a tea party. And so the idea of these childhood wounds causing a deep defensiveness versus healing your inner child, remembering who you are, where you can have peace, and being able to joyfully do things again without always being scared that there's some kind of bad angle to it. And that's where also in Taoism, there's the idea that you have to kind of go through this and be educated about it so that when you get to the other side, you can be childlike again, but without the vulnerability. You know, the kind of vulnerability, it's weird because you want to be vulnerable, but with people who deserve it. People who have proven that your vulnerability is safe with them. And that's where you keep your heart soft, but you keep the boundaries around it as a filter. The Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, you've got a lot of earth energy here. Yeah, it's time to ground yourself. So a lot of times when we're in this situation, our thoughts kind of spiral out. So grounding yourself will give you new opportunities to move forward and work through that shadow bag and get to a more peaceful place. Let's take a look at your affirmation card. Yeah, you're doing some really deep soul healing right now, Alchemist, and I'm so proud of you. It's never easy to do this kind of deep work. Love yourself as you are right now. Give yourself grace. I am beautiful. Yes, you are. Even if you feel like maybe you're not, even if you feel like you can't focus on your own beauty right now because you're too busy defending yourself. Take a step back. That peace is your birthright. That peace is where your soul actually lies. And it's any kind of agitation in your soul right now is an arrow pointing you, saying this is what needs to be repaired so that you can get back to here. And it's going to just keep agitating you until you start the repair work. And look, you have all the pieces have fallen into place for you to do this. That means if you came to this reading today, you are already ready for the next step. And you probably already know that, don't you? Well, Alchemist, thank you for joining me today. Comment below if this resonated for you. We're building a beautiful community. You're here at the beginning of this channel and this community, and I thank you so much for being here. Continue the great work, Alchemists, and I'll see you next time.